All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What's up, everybody? Big Marley 3 from SHIPIT Nation here to break down the Week 3 NFL Primetime Slate for you guys. Before we get into that, I want to mention that we have a 5-day trial over at ShipItNation.com for only $19. You get to test out everything we have to offer except for our Discord. And if you get in there right now, you can get MMA tonight before all these NFL games start tomorrow. Once you sign up, you will get access to this 4-hour educational video from our guys Hoop and Tambo. They're two of the best in the industry, and they're giving away all their secrets in this 4-hour video. Hoop talks about winning the Millie Maker last year, and Tambo crushes qualifiers and live finals. So he gives his strategies for those, along with a bunch of other great information to help you guys become better DFS players. Also, the show is sponsored by Drafters. I built 150 best ball teams on Drafters this year, and it was an awesome site to draft on. They also have weekly pick'em contests available for each sport. Go over there, sign up with promo code SHIPIT, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. They also have an NBA best ball contest that you can start drafting in right now. All right, let's get into this primetime slate. We have another 3-gamer on this primetimer, but there is a 100K contest out there with 20K to first. There's also a big 2-gamer with $500,000 up top on Monday, and we will have content posted on the site for that as well. But on this 3-gamer, we have the Sunday night game being our lowest total on the slate at 43. The Raiders are 2.5-point home favorites, and this game has the 2 cheapest quarterbacks on the slate. I'm fine going down to Jimmy G or Kenny Pickett at low ownership, but I would like to get away from the quarterbacks in this game if I can. I just haven't built lineups yet, so I'm not sure what salary allows me to do, but we do have a lot of options to stack with these guys. We got great pass catchers in Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers on the Raiders, and he crushed it in week 1, catching 9 of his 10 targets for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. I like going to him for cheap or just going up to the great talent in Devontae Adams. But I prefer Kenny Pickett if I'm choosing between the two of them, mostly because he's passed for 26 more times than Jimmy has in the first 2 weeks. So just more opportunities for him and his pass catchers to score points. And then on the Raiders side of the ball, we also have Josh Jacobs, who rushed for -2 yards on 9 attempts last week. So I'm fine going back to him, especially if people are going to be off of him. But on the Steelers side, I really like to target George Pickens. I'm heavy on him this year. He hit the 100-yard bonus last week with a long touchdown. So I like him really with or without Kenny Pickett. And then I also like Pat Freiermuth at tight end, mostly because of all my best ball shares. I really need him to start stepping it up because he's one of my highest on tight ends. So that would be great if he starts it this week. I like him and George Pickens stacked with Pickett if I do end up using him. And then both defenses are in play in this game as well. And then the first of the Monday night games is our highest total of this 3-gamer with the Eagles and Tampa Bay. This is a 46-point total with the Eagles coming in as 5-point road favorites with a 25.5-point team total. We have the usual suspects on Philly in Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith, who are all fine pay-up options if you can afford it, and they all have high ceilings as well. I will be using one of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in my Hurts lineups personally, but I think I'm more interested in these cheaper options on Philly instead. I like Dallas Goedert at tight end as a cheap pass catching stack option with Hurts. And then I also like Swift at running back as direct leverage off of the Hurts chalk. And he crushed it last week. He had 28 carries. He rushed for 175 yards and a touchdown. I like pairing him with the Eagles defense and just hoping that Baker throws a pick 6 or 2 And if that happens, it would also limit what Hurts needs to do on offense, which would in turn help Swift. But I also think Baker's very in play on this slate in a good matchup. The Eagles allowed Mac Jones to throw for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns against them in week 1. And then last week, Kirk Cousins passed for 364 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Eagles defense. Baker to Evans has been money so far this season, so I like stacking those guys. You could also throw in Chris Godwin or Cade Otton as cheap pass catching options, and they combined for 14 targets last week. Those are really the only $3 I am looking to target this week. But if Baker's coming in low owned, I think he's very in play. And then our final game of this slate is probably my favorite to target if Joe Burrow plays. If he doesn't play, then the Bengals end up being fades for me most likely. But currently, the Bengals are 3-point home favorites, which leads me to believe that Burrow does play. They have a 23.5-point team total, and I like stacking him with either or both of his wide receivers in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And then we have Joe Mixon in play at running back, and he would be the guy that I'm still interested in if Burrow ends up sitting. If that's the case, I like to pair him with the Bengals defense. And those will be my favorite targets on the Bengals this week. I do think the Rams are a great team to target, though. And Stafford has looked pretty good without Kupp this year. We have Puka Nacua, who is just lighting the league on fire this year. He had 20 targets last week, and then he had 15 targets in week 1. He hit the 100-yard bonus in both of those games. He has 266 total yards in the 2 weeks. So I want all the Puka Nacua that I can get. And then I also think Tutu Atwell is very in play. He has 17 targets through 2 weeks and is averaging 98 receiving yards per game. And then you have Van Jefferson and Tyler Higbee, who are in play as cheap, low-owned pass-catching options as well. And then the Rams also have one of the best running back plays on the slate in Kyren Williams, who has 4 touchdowns through the first 2 weeks. And he's even stackable with Matt Stafford after seeing 10 targets last week. I like all of those Rams guys with or without Burrow on the field. But that is how I will be attacking this primetime slate. All of my plays will be posted over at SHIPITNation.com. Don't forget, go try out that 5-day trial. $19 gets you everything we have to offer except for the Discord. That 4-hour course alone is worth the $19. So go test it out. I think you guys will like it and want to stick around. I will be back next week with another primetime slate breakdown. But if you guys can hit that like and subscribe button for us, it really helps out. Good luck on this short slate. I hope to see some Ship It logos up top. Thanks for listening. Go ship something. We'll see you next week.